We've been taught to fear 80, not by words, but by images. The wrinkled hands that tremble, the quiet rooms, the forgotten birthdays, the walker in the corner untouched but waiting, the sense that life is mostly over. You've seen it, you've felt it, maybe you've even begun to believe it. That reaching 80 means weakness, slowness, loss, dependency, that your body will betray you, your mind will fade, your days will blur together like fog. But here's what no one talks about. That image isn't universal. It's a story, but not the only story. Because scattered across this world quietly and without fanfare are people who have reached 80 and surprised everyone. Not by being perfect, not by pretending they're 40 again, but by showing up every day with a kind of strength that doesn't shout, but stands. Meet John. He's 82. He walks every morning before sunrise, rain or shine. Not far, not fast, but consistently. He says it's not about exercise. It's about telling my legs I still need them, he laughs. Or Lucia, she's 81. She tends her garden with the care of an artist. She says watching something bloom keeps her from withering. Then there's Clara, widowed, quiet, rarely online. But she still writes letters by hand, real ones with ink and feeling. She sends birthday cards to every grandchild. They say she makes them feel more loved than any text ever could. They aren't lucky. They're not exceptions. They're just still living, but living with intention. And that's the quiet truth we were never told. Not everyone at 80 is weak. Not everyone fades into silence. Some glow. And the question you might be asking yourself now is, how? How do they stay strong when everything around them says it's time to slow down, sit still, disappear? That's what we'll explore. Not with prescriptions or miracle routines, but with the quiet, real habits that give strength its true shape. Because maybe, just maybe, you are stronger than you think. Strength after 80 doesn't always begin with muscle. Sometimes it starts with purpose. Not a grand mission, not a life-changing dream, but a reason, simple, clear, and personal, to get out of bed. It could be as small as brewing the perfect cup of tea, opening the curtains and watching the birds, feeding the stray cat who always waits near the fence, watering a plant, calling someone who needs to hear a kind voice. These may seem like little things, but they're not little when you're 80. Because when the world no longer demands your time, you must choose to give it meaning yourself. In a world that quietly forgets older people, many 80-year-olds begin to feel invisible. No job deadlines, no children to raise, no one checking in unless it's about pills or appointments. And when no one expects anything from you, it's easy to stop expecting anything from yourself. But the ones who stay strong, they don't wait to be needed. They create meaning every morning. Take Arthur, for example. He's 84 and lives alone, but every day he walks down to the mailbox at 7 a.m. Not to get the mail, it doesn't arrive until noon, but to wave at the school bus passing by. He says one of the kids once waved back years ago, and now every day he makes sure they see a friendly face. It keeps me part of the world, he says. It's not about doing something big. It's about feeling part of something, anything. That's what purpose does. It anchors you. It gives your body a direction. It gives your heart a reason. And when you have a reason to start your day, you move. You breathe deeper. You eat better. You smile more. You matter. And that is strength. Not loud, not flashy, but strong enough to carry you through another sunrise and to remind the world you're still here. You're still living. If you ask them how they've stayed strong into their 80s, many will tell you the same thing. I just keep moving. They're not running marathons. They're not lifting weights at the gym. They're not trying to reverse aging. They're simply refusing to stop. There's a kind of quiet magic in motion. Not the kind that breaks records. The kind that says, I will stretch my legs even if they ache. I will walk to the kitchen instead of calling for help. I will take the stairs slowly because I still can. These movements may look small, but over time they become a shield, a way to push back against the slow creep of stillness. Stillness, not the peaceful kind, but the kind that settles in when you stop trying. When days blur, when the chair feels safer than the path outside, when your body starts to forget how to carry you. This is the quiet danger, and the strongest people in their 80s know this. They know movement isn't just for strength, it's for survival. Marta, 85, does gentle Tai Chi every morning. She learned from a DVD 20 years ago and never stopped. It's not about fitness, she says. It's about remembering my body is still mine. Raymond, 82, sweeps his front porch every afternoon. It's not dirty, but he says it keeps him from becoming part of the furniture. They don't wait until they feel strong to move. They move, and in that motion, they become strong. You don't have to jog. You don't have to bend like you used to. You just have to move a little more than yesterday. Because every step you take is a message to your body that you are still in charge. And that kind of strength, it's not measured in steps, it's measured in will. Strength after 80 isn't only physical. It lives in your ability to stay sharp, to stay curious, to stay present, because the mind, just like the body, can stiffen when ignored. And those who stay strong, they know this. They don't let their thoughts settle into fog. They wake them up on purpose. How? Not always with books or puzzles, though those help, but with engagement, with the choice to stay interested in the world, even when the world seems to move faster than they do. They read the morning paper, slowly but fully, watch documentaries and write notes in the margins, play word games not to win but to stretch, tell stories, real ones, with names and faces, ask their grandkids what streaming means, and genuinely listen. They don't let unfamiliar things scare them. They let them stretch their minds. Helen is 86. She's teaching herself Italian, just 10 words a week. She says she might never visit Rome again. But I like how the words feel in my mouth, she smiles. George, 80, records a voice diary every evening, not for anyone else, just to hear his own thoughts and keep track of his days like chapters in a book. Mental strength after 80 isn't about remembering every name. It's about not giving up on remembering at all. It's choosing to engage with life, even when others assume you've checked out. It's deciding that your mind is still a tool, still a compass, still a place you live, not just something you lose. The strongest 80-year-olds, they're not just surviving, they're mentally showing up, day after day. They keep asking questions, keep wondering, keep thinking, remembering, dreaming. Because to them, mental strength isn't about IQ, it's about presence. And presence in a world that expects you to fade is one of the boldest acts of strength there is. There's a quiet kind of strength that doesn't come from resistance, but from acceptance. Not the kind that says this is fine, but the kind that says this is real and I'm still standing. At 80, your body will change. So will your routines. So will the people around you. There will be more losses than celebrations, more silence than applause. And yet, the strongest among us at this age are not the ones who deny the truth. They are the ones who face it without folding. Take Rose. She's 88. Her knees hurt most mornings. She can't garden like she used to. But she still walks out to the porch and waters the potted lavender. I can't pull weeds anymore, she says, but I can still nurture something. That's not giving up. That's choosing to live within reality and still find life in it. Then there's Malik. He lost his partner 2 years ago. He wears her scarf around his neck when he goes on his morning walk. Not out of sadness, but as a reminder, love doesn't die when people do. He's not trying to erase the pain, he's learning to walk with it. And in that, he is unbreakable. You see, giving up doesn't always look like lying in bed. Sometimes it looks like bitterness, withdrawal, silence. But those who stay strong after 80, they do the opposite. They still laugh at bad jokes. They still dance at weddings, even if just from the chair. They cry when they need to, but they get up the next day and open the window. They know aging isn't about loss, it's about shift. And they shift. Not out of defeat, but out of wisdom. There is strength in letting go of what no longer fits, and holding tighter to what still gives you joy. That's not weakness, that's grace in motion. That's the kind of strength that doesn't fade with age. It deepens. No one stays strong alone, not at 80, not at any age. And those who still radiate strength in their later years, they know something that many forget. Human connection isn't optional. It's essential, not just for happiness, but for survival. Loneliness doesn't just make you sad. It changes your body, it weakens the heart, it fogs the mind, it makes everything heavier. But those who still shine at 80 and beyond, they've learned how to fight that fog. Not with big parties or full calendars, but with deliberate connection. They find small, meaningful ways to stay tethered to life, to people, to belonging, even if that means waving at the neighbor every morning, saying good morning to the same bird outside their window, calling someone just to say I was thinking of you, sending postcards even if they don't get a reply, or sitting beside someone in silence, just so they don't feel invisible. Elaine is 83. Every Wednesday at 4 p.m. she calls her childhood friend. They talk about nothing and everything, the weather, old songs, their shared silence. It's not the words, she says, it's knowing we're still showing up for each other. Thomas, 82, volunteers once a week at the local library. He doesn't talk much, just shelves books. But the quiet nods, the smell of stories, the subtle routine, they anchor him. And then there's Suki. Every afternoon, she makes 2 cups of tea. One for herself, one for whoever might knock. No one always does, but the second cup is always ready. Hope, she says softly, deserves a seat at the table. Because that's the thing about human beings, we don't need to be surrounded to feel connected. We need to feel invited, valued, expected. The strongest elders I've met don't just wait for people to reach out. They extend their hand first, and when no one answers, they try again tomorrow. Because they understand, it's not about who shows up, it's about staying open. And that openness, that quiet willingness to connect, is one of the greatest acts of courage after 80. It says, I still matter, I still care, and I still believe someone, somewhere is worth loving. Even if just in a moment. So if you've done this, even once, leave a comment below. Tell us about the smile you shared, the call you made, the small moment that reminded you you're still part of this world. And don't forget to follow our channel, Golden Pathways. We're building a space where aging doesn't mean isolation. It means deeper connection on your own terms. Because after all these years, you don't need a crowd to feel full. You just need one real warm thread to hold on to. If you've made it this far, you've likely seen a reflection of yourself or someone you love. Not everyone at 80 is weak. That's not just a hopeful phrase. It's a truth lived out every day by quiet warriors in worn cardigans, by steady hands that still reach out, by eyes that still shine when someone says, "It's good to see you." Strength at this age doesn't come with applause. It comes with presence. It's the woman who still writes poetry no one reads, because the rhythm helps her feel alive. It's the man who tends his rosebush every morning, even though his wife, who once adored the blooms, is no longer there. It's the widow who dresses up for Sunday lunch just for herself, because dignity never left her. It's the man who stares at old photographs, not with tears, but with quiet gratitude that he got to live such days. These people? They're not special cases. They're not exceptions. They are mirrors of what you can still become or already are. If you've woken up this morning, if you've chosen to breathe deeply, to move a little, to care about one thing, to call one person, to forgive one hurt, to remember one joy, you are already strong. Not because you can lift more, not because you never fall, but because you still get back up, in body, in spirit, in presence. Because you still believe that today is worth showing up for. And if you've forgotten that lately, that's okay. That's what we're here for. This channel, Golden Pathways, not to lecture, but to remind. Not to judge, but to walk beside you. If today's message touched you, let us know in the comments. Share a moment when you felt your own strength, even in the quietest way. And don't forget to subscribe. Because this journey of aging, it's not about decline. It's about discovering the strength you didn't know was still there and letting it shine, one gentle, powerful day at a time.